Hey, welcome back. So today we're finishing up part 4 of the 30-day bass practice breakdown. Gonna get it all done today. Let's go. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to crop the front view. Okay, let's go ahead and select it. And then we also want to select the window here. So we're also going to scooch ahead a little bit so that we actually start playing so I can frame just the guitar. So then we're going to go to Tools, Video, Crop and Zoom. So the first thing first, we want to make sure that we are on the custom aspect ratio. That's down here. We want to move individuals like the side. We want to bring it up to like about the 8th fret right there. We're going to take the top down till the top of the guitar neck and then the bottom up so you don't see the keyboard in front there. Keep in mind that I'm going to be able to move this and make changes to this after the fact. So after I hit apply, this is still going to be something that I can change. So that may be too much for the space that I have available, which is the space next to the drum machine at the bottom there. I gotta flip this image around, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on this button down here, and now that's facing the right way. So let me try to fit it where it's supposed to go here. I do not know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna go ahead and shrink this till I see the headstock. That's pretty close. I think that's gotta be pretty close there. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and split the difference on sizes between these two. And yeah, so I'll make this one maybe a little bit bigger and that one a little bit smaller. So move this down a little bit, right there, and then that should be pretty close. Move that over, move that up a little bit. Yeah, I want them both to be equal along the bottom part of the border. So next I'm going to line up all of the bass playing and make sure that part is going to line up. Zoom in here on the front part. We're actually trying to find where the guitar starts. That's the first part of this. It looks like it's right around there. Gonna zoom in, we'll get right on top of it. And you can see where the bass note starts right there. Once you get close, you really have to crank up and zoom in all the way to get down to the frame. Okay, let's see how close we are here. I think we're within 2 frames. That's pretty close. I think it's more like 1 frame. So now we're going to find the exact moment where sound comes out of the drum machine. And in order to do that, you've got to move 1 frame at a time. So I don't need this front window to show everything. I need it to start right when I start playing the bass. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit, jump ahead maybe a second or so, right about there, and I'm going to cut it right about there. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to have a little bit of space so I can fade in. So I'm also cutting the overhead of the drum machine at that exact same point because I do not need both those videos at the very beginning. So I'm also cutting the overhead of the drum machine at that exact same point because I do not need both those videos at the very beginning. And when I delete the drum machine footage, it will move everything over to line up with the side view. I'm sure this is a setting somewhere, but I haven't found it yet. But there is a workaround. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward all of this footage of me correctly putting it where it's supposed to go. So now I want to fade in the front view and the top view. Next thing I'm going to do is hit save because I haven't done that in a while. So now I've got to minimize the views and then add the voiceover. Got to minimize the views here. We know that the top view and front view are lined up okay. We just want the side view. Right out here, I'm going to drag this over to 150, just under 2 seconds. Because that's where I'm starting everything, even though the dialogue's a little bit further on. And you can tell it's not lining up. I got to move it around a little bit, right about there. So next we want to zoom in a little bit and get right on it and see how far off we are. Oh, that's close. That's within 1 frame. I may not even move that. I think I'm just going to leave it there. Keep in mind, at this point, I had done this about 30 times, so that's why I was getting pretty good at it. So now I want to find out exactly where I'm going to put the drums audio, and I'm going to line that up with the spot on the video where it goes 0101, right about there. And then you can get it down to the frame. Now I'm going to go ahead and scroll to where the drums audio track is, and I'm just going to drag it and put it right where the cursor is. Okay, I'm way off with the drums, but you can actually cut a lot of this stuff too. Get it right up to the first note. I'm just going to highlight this part right here and drag it until I'm close. Let go, and then we're good. Now we want to line this up so that the first 4 counts of the drums happen before the bass starts making noise. And we have to line that up with the existing footage. But first, we're going to eliminate this blank space at the beginning of the drums. So you can highlight that bracket and then just drag it by the frame, 1 frame at a time, until you get close to the actual audio, and then just let go. I'm going to go ahead and take it 1 more notch. Yeah, that's right on it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit. I got to find that spot where the video starts, and that's going to be right when it goes to 1-1. Yeah, 1-1, so you can see it right there. Next, we're going to add bass. So the bass is going to start exactly 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right about there is where the bass is going to start. So I got to move the cursor over as close as I can to that spot, and then go down below, and I'm going to drag the bass and start right there. And then I got to zoom up, see where I'm at. See, I'm still off by about 1 frame, but it's pretty close. You won't hear it. Yeah, I can move that. I'm going to go ahead and move it to 1 frame. That's close. So now I'm going to go ahead and extend the background all the way through the video, but first, we've got to save. First things first, I'm going to have to crank this view down so I can see the whole video. Then I am going to, well, no, not that one. I've got to increase this so I can see what I'm doing. Then there's a little bracket, and then hold the left key down all the way to the end. And now we're good to go. So let's go ahead and check and make sure the Studio on the Budget banner is also going to run the full length. And hit save. So the last thing we got to do is we got to check all our fade ins and fade outs. So it looks like the header still has the fade in and fade out from the previous file. So I may just have to adjust the length on that one. But I definitely need to come up with a fade in for this background video. So I'm going to check all the other ones. Looks like everything else is good except for the background. So you're going to switch over to transitions, and then we are going to drag dissolve down to the background and make sure that the length of it goes all the way to where the side view starts. Right about there. It can be equal to the border. Let's see what it looks like. It looks okay. That's a good transition. So now I'm going to add a quick fade in to the beginning part of the side view here. So I didn't leave a ton of space before I started talking, so that's okay. We can do a quick fade in as well. So it doesn't matter if it's a little bit longer. You can just adjust it to right when I start talking. And that gives you a smoother transition than just a jump cut. So I'm going to start with the top view here. I got to find it exactly when the drum machine starts playing. So we move it around here. It should be right around there. I want to find the exact frame where it says 1-1. Right about there. So right there. And now I'm going to drag the transition down and just end it a little bit before I start playing. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the front view and match it to start at the exact same time. So let me minimize these views. I'm going to go ahead and go to the end when I stop playing and get the fade outs there. So let me go to the fade out here for when I stop playing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in a little bit, and we're going to find the end fade out point. It looks like it's right about there. And I'm going to go ahead and reduce the fade out so it starts right where the cursor is on both of these. So now I'm going to zoom in and I want to check the end. All of the ends need to be the same length. So I'm going to decide to make this a little bit longer, and VO can end whenever it ends, that's fine. So now we just got to get the fades on all the spots. I'm going to put that on the background and also on the side view, and I think that's it. So that everything fades out roughly at the same time. That's it. Only thing we got to do now is export. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to hit save. And then we're going to go up to here where it says export, create video, wait for the window. Now you have to choose a location. The location is going to be video, the folder, 30-day base, and then the 30th. And we're going to go ahead and put it in the final folder. Select it. And then you want the recommended settings to be higher. And I usually crank it up to 150. Hit apply. And then when we're ready, we just gotta hit export. So now you get the render window, and when it's completed, you will get a little button that says open folder right about there. And then that will take you to the folder where your file is located. So I didn't screen cap this, but the last thing you want to do, the very last thing, is you want to watch your video and make sure everything looks right before you upload it to YouTube. Make sure that is part of your process. As always, if you need to contact me, you can reach me at studioonaBudget@gmail.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks.